Welcome to the Muscle Activation Techniques podcast, trusted over decades to relieve pain and restore mobility by top pro athletes. Our revolutionary technique is a game changer for patient and practitioner. What is MAT and how does it work? Over time, stress, trauma, or overuse and the resultant inflammation on the body result in a less efficient muscular system and diminished neuromuscular function. The communication between the nervous system and the muscular system can break down over time. This altered communication between the nervous system and the muscular system can lead to altered mechanics, which can trigger symptoms relating to muscle tightness, pain, and many of the physical complaints that we associate with aging. The end result of a one-time physical trauma or a lifetime of microtraumas is altered communication between the nervous system and the muscular system. Due to this altered communication, the contractile ability of the associated muscles becomes less efficient. This can lead to progressive weakness that leads to an increased susceptibility to pain, injury, and long-term degenerative changes. MAT is designed to reestablish the communication pathways between the nervous system and the muscular system in order to restore muscle contractile capabilities. The main indicator of muscles losing their contractile efficiency is limitations in range of motion, or ROM. Through the MAT assessment, we begin with a muscle-specific joint range of motion assessment. This allows the MAT practitioner to precisely determine which muscles potentially have altered communication from the nervous system. The MAT practitioner will then perform a form of manual muscle testing in order to determine which muscles are actually weak. Once the weaknesses have been identified, MAT practitioners are trained to employ two processes that are designed to improve contractile capabilities. The first form of activation is a muscle-specific palpation technique designed to stimulate the sensory receptors within the muscle in order to improve the input from the periphery back to the central nervous system. The second form of activation involves position-specific isometrics designed to improve motor output from the central nervous system back out to the muscles. As the central nervous system reestablishes its communication with the muscular system, the affected muscles will experience fewer protective measures, therefore providing the body with a greater sense of stability, which in turn provides the body with more mobility. We promise to stay in our lane, and our lane is treating muscle dysfunction with a narrow scope on contractile efficiency. We are not competition to physical therapy, chiropractic, massage therapy, athletic training, strength training, etc. We are an adjunct to physical therapy, chiropractic, massage therapy, athletic training, personal training, strength and conditioning.
MAT is a very specific non-medical process with a narrow application to assessment, improvement, and maintenance of a targeted aspect of human motor control, and that's muscle contractile efficiency. That's all we are assessing, is the contractile capabilities of muscles. And that's all we're addressing. When we're trying to assess, improve, and maintain contractile abilities of muscles. Life beats us up. Somebody's got to be there to put it back together. So that's where MAT fits in. As a system, is a unique process that fits within the general exercise training models. If we're improving muscle function, where do you think that fits the best in the exercise world? What is the goal when people start an exercise program? To improve the conditioning of their muscles. So MAT fits right in this general exercise training model. The primary benefit of MAT is its ability to assess, prepare, and improve the muscle system's contractile ability in order to participate in, as well as measure the tolerance to the demands of various forms of exercise. So not only to improve the problem, when somebody lays on your table or you're performing an assessment on a client, you're getting a representation. If you evaluate their neuromuscular integrity, you're receiving a representation of how their body is functioning at this moment in time. So if somebody wakes up after 8 hours of sleep and they come in and say, okay, I want you to check the integrity of my muscular system. And they're all rested, they're recovered, they haven't really worked out hard, their diet's been good, their sleep's been good, no emotional stresses. They lay down and you're like, wow, range of motion's good. I mean, body looks pretty good. And they're like, well, I just always seem to have this chronic low back pain or knee pain. And it's like, well, wow, you're really not demonstrating it. Based on what you're saying, you're not demonstrating what I would think you would demonstrate based on that history. Well, what if they came to you after they ran a marathon? You got a whole different mechanical system. same exact person can display completely different imbalances in their body, because it's all based on stress. It's all based on force and the body's ability to tolerate force. So they come in rested in the morning and body looks pretty good. They come in after a workout or after running a marathon and you have a whole different view of what this body is what level this body's functioning at. And so the ability to measure the tolerance to the demands of various forms of exercise, the exercise may be the problem. The exercise could be the problem that's causing people to have pain and to break down and get on this downward spiral.
Are you interested in adding MAT to your practice or having it be your dedicated career? Go over to muscleactivation.com/education to see our class offerings. You can learn MAT in a variety of ways: individual modules, a certificate program, and we now even have an associate's and bachelor's program. Yes, that's right, MAT is now its own college program. Our degree programs have financial aid available for those who qualify.
How many people in here have clients that have pain? Every one of us. How many people have pain themselves? The majority of the people. I just did a course back in DC, Idea Personal Trainer, and 60 people in each class. It's more specific, longer classes, lower number of people. 60 people in every class. I've had as many as 200 people in classes like that, and I ask the same questions. And one, everybody has clients that have pain. And two, 95 to 99% of the people in the room have pain. And so what we have to do is take a step back and say, well, something's wrong with the industry. If people are coming to us to get healthy, and most of us are injured, and many of the people in the industry are injured, let alone their clients, the trainers themselves are injured, then maybe we're not doing something right. And that's where MAT fits in, is to help educate. One, to help educate the clients, trainers, to understand that whether or not the body can actually tolerate the forces you're putting on them. And if you're exceeding your tolerance levels, then the muscle's getting broken down. Then you end up in a catabolic state as opposed to an anabolic state, and the whole reason we exercise is thrown out the door. And we want to increase strength with strength and endurance capacities of the muscles, but if we're continually breaking the muscles down, we have the complete opposite effect. And that will show up through our assessment on how their body tolerates forces. And typically it shows up through limitations in range of motion.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We'll post the show notes to this episode on our website. If you found interest in this podcast, please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to rate and review, and be sure to leave your comments and questions below. Also, check out our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram channels, where we highlight various muscle activation techniques principles, as well as client and practitioner success stories.